September 5, 1952, the sky above the Yalu River, the border between North Korea and China, a formation of American F-86 jets, is on a critical mission to destroy a key enemy chemical plant. But they aren't alone. Flying high above as their protectors are the legendary F-86 Sabres of the 336th Fighter Squadron. Leading this escort is a man whose name would become synonymous with courage under fire, Captain James Risner. His Sabre was unmistakable, decorated with the grinning face of Bugs Bunny, a picture-perfect symbol of American confidence. But as they approached the notorious MiG Alley, that confidence was about to be tested. This isn't just a story of a dogfight. It's a story about a bond between two pilots, an impossible maneuver, and a sacrifice that defines the true meaning of a wingman. Welcome back to the deep dive. The mission was proceeding smoothly, the bombers droning over the endless Korean cliffs, but Risner, call-sign John Red Lead, knew the calm wouldn't last. Beneath them, at the Chinese base at Unthinkable airfield, the enemy was already alerted. The airfield, a hornet's nest inside MiG Alley, was home to scores of Soviet and Chinese MiG-15s. Within moments, the sky erupted. The MiGs, agile and powerful, dove on the American bombers. Risner's Flight of 4 Sabres didn't hesitate. They met the enemy head-on, transforming the sky into a chaotic canvas of twisting metal and desperate maneuvers. In the chaos, Risner's instincts took over. He latched onto a group of 4 MiGs. A well-aimed burst from his guns shattered the canopy of one of the enemy jets. The remaining 3 MiGs broke away, but the damaged one panicked. He dove, hugging the terrain, in a desperate attempt to escape, plunging low over the hills. Risner, with his wingman, Lieutenant Joe Logan, gave chase. They pushed their Sabres to the limit, the airspeed indicator flirting with the sound barrier. The MiG pilot, in a last-ditch effort to survive, ignored all borders. He shot across the Yalu into Manchuria, strictly forbidden zone for American pilots. To follow meant risking their careers, their commissions. But Risner didn't see a border. He saw a target, and he saw a threat that needed to be neutralized. They went in, a pair of hunters on a relentless pursuit. The MiG pilot was skilled. He pulled the splitters, diving and pulling up so low that his jet exhaust kicked up dust from a dry riverbed. Just 10 feet below him, Risner was stunned by the bravery, but he didn't blink. He matched the move, sticking to the MiG's tail like glue. Then, the Russian did the unthinkable. He cut his throttle and threw out his air brakes, trying to force Risner to overshoot. But Risner was too good. He glided right over the top of the MiG, settling perfectly next to its wingtip. Risner later recalled the moment. We were both at idle, just coasting. He looked over at me, raised his hand, and shook his fist. I thought, this is like a movie. For a brief moment, it wasn't American and Russian. It was just 2 men staring at each other from their cockpits, locked in a personal duel of skill. The chase continued for 35 miles into enemy territory, all the way back to the MiG's home base, Unthinkable airfield. It was insane. The Russian, desperate and running out of options, began flying like a madman, weaving between parked planes, skimming buildings. The airfield's anti-aircraft guns opened up, targeting the 2 American Sabres who were now buzzing their base. Risner was low on ammo, waiting for the perfect shot. The Russian pilot saw his chance. He aimed his jet directly between 2 massive hangars, hoping to land on the runway just beyond and live to fight another day. It was a split-second gamble. As Risner's Sabre screamed between the hangar walls, he had a fleeting window. He fired. At that altitude, at that speed, the damaged plane had no time to recover. It cartwheeled into parked aircraft on the runway, ending the incredible battle in a fiery explosion. The MiG was down, but their problems had just multiplied. With barely 5 minutes of fuel left, he was facing a certain bailout in the middle of hostile Chinese territory, a death sentence. But Risner had other plans. Joe Logan wasn't just his wingman, he was his friend. Risner knew about a helicopter rescue unit on Chodu Island, 60 miles to the south. It was a long shot, but he wasn't giving up. He told Logan to do something radical. As they climbed for altitude, Risner gave the order, shut off your engine. Now, Risner performed a maneuver never before attempted. With exquisite, almost impossible care, he nudged the nose of his Sabre into the tailpipe of Logan's dead aircraft. He was literally going to push his wingman home. The turbulence was a nightmare. The updraft from Logan's plane would throw Risner up. The downdraft would suck him down. Hydraulic fluid and jet fuel from Logan's damaged plane coated Risner's windscreen, blinding him. For 15 minutes, he maintained this contact, reconnecting 8 times, pushing his friend at 190 knots, all while fighting the instinct to return to enemy territory. Miraculously, it worked. Risner pushed Logan's dead jet all the way to Chodu. As they reached the coast, Logan knew it was time. He called out to Risner, "I'll see you at the base tonight," and ejected from his crippled plane, his parachute blooming over the water. Risner, now critically low on fuel, shut down his own engine and glided his plane to a dead stick landing at Kimpo Air Base. He had done the impossible. But the tragedy wasn't over. Joe Logan was a strong swimmer. He landed in the water, but his parachute lines tangled around him. Before the rescue boats could reach him, he drowned. Risner was devastated. He had done the unthinkable, pushed a man home with the nose of his plane, risked his career and his life, and it still wasn't enough. They never got to meet at the base that night. For his incredible valor, he was promoted to major, but the loss of his friend would forever be a part of his story. Acts of physical and moral courage defined Robbie Risner's entire career. He became a jet ace in Korea. In Vietnam, he led the first strike of Operation Rolling Thunder. He was shot down, captured, and endured over 7 brutal years as a prisoner of war. Through it all, he became a symbol of resistance and hope for his fellow prisoners, proving that courage isn't just about what you do in the air, but who you are on the ground. His story reminds us that sometimes the greatest battles are fought not for glory, but for the man next to you. If you want to dive deeper into history's most incredible untold stories, make sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive. Thanks for watching.